What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Three Guys on Mic. I'm William, joined by my two co-hosts.
Jeremiah.
Little man.
Today we're going to talk about the NBA. As you know, there's less than 2 months to go in the season. A lot of teams are making their late season playoff pushes. Other teams are kind of falling off. But before we get into it, just want to say like and subscribe. Appreciate all the support, guys. Let's get into it.
Tied up by Green. Throws it back up top. James puts up the three. Oh, it's good! LeBron James from downtown.
Okay, I'll start off here, guys. As we all know, for those of you who don't know, I am a Nuggets fan. Denver Nuggets fan. William here is a Celtics fan. Luan here, unfortunately, is a Lakers fan. Very struggling, right? You know, you're a playing team. Hopefully. Can't drop any more games, right? My Nuggets just lost tonight against the Warriors in an unfortunate game at home. It was atrocious. However, Willie's Celtics are doing pretty good. Just came off a dominant performance against the Nets, right? Playing pretty good in the East, right? And I want to put this question on the floor, right? So, like the top 4 teams in the East, top 4 teams in the West, right? Do we feel, I believe it's 20-something games, or it's winding down, right?
Yeah.
Do we feel there's going to be a lot of change? If for the West in particular, I think the Suns are at 53 wins, and the next team is still in the 40s, right? Yeah. So I don't see the Suns dropping 8 games. I don't see the second, third, or fourth seed going on runs, not losing. Like, it's simply not going to happen, right? Yeah. Liman, tell me your thoughts on the West, right? 1 through 4, is anything changing? Is anybody shooting up?
So I believe it goes Suns, Memphis, Warriors, and then the Jazz. Yeah. Right? And then 5th is the Mavericks.
Yes.
And if I'm being honest, I think the only 2 interchangeable is Memphis
4 and 5. Oh, 2 and 3?
Yeah, 2 and 3.
Oh, yeah.
Memphis and Golden State. Because I think the Jazz are going to sit comfortable there. I trust them as a regular season team. They play really well near the end of the season, and then in the past, unfortunately, these all fell apart in the playoffs. But for me in the West, I think it just comes down to those 2 interchangeables, Memphis and Golden State. And whoever ends up where, 1 through 4, 5 through 8, I mean, they're going to be hungry teams as well. Yeah. And I expect every single matchup in the West to go at least 6 games.
6 games. Of course. And so now that I asked you the West, I'll ask you for the East, Will, right? Since your team is in the East, right? You're more, you're familiar with the East, right? 1 through 4, is anything changing, right? You have this Nets team that has been struggling, right? As we all know, KD has come back, right? Him and Kyrie, the COVID mandate has kind of got lifted up, right? Kyrie can play more games, right? Team getting healthy. Curry's playing phenomenal minutes for this team, right? What do you see going on here?
Let me say this, though, before you start. I'm sorry. The Brooklyn Nets tonight made a huge statement. Yes. And I think it was a warning shot.
It was a 29-point win against a very talented Philadelphia 76ers team, right?
And I agree with what both you guys are saying. When it comes to top 4 teams, I don't think seeding will change aside from 4 and 5, which is Boston and the Bulls. Both those teams are neck and neck when it comes to wins and losses. Okay. But when it comes to top 4 teams that I trust, top 4 teams when it comes to performing in the playoffs, you guys are right. The Nets made a statement win tonight against a team who's been red hot against the Sixers, who they have Maxey playing at a high level, Embiid MVP level, and then they have Harden, who played his worst game.
Yeah.
In all 3 of them.
All 3 of them really didn't play. I mean, Embiid did play well, but it wasn't enough to get them. Yeah, so I just think that the Nets did make a statement win, and if you think about it, Ben Simmons still hasn't played yet. And a lot of people like to harp on Ben Simmons, and I said this when the trade happened. Guys, go back and check out that video. I said Ben Simmons does not need to score a single point for this basketball team to succeed. Yeah. He just needs to do what he does, and that's play defense, facilitate, and just be there. That's really all he needs to be. And I think that also, Reggie Miller said it, that it's a good thing, good opportunity for him to just have KD and Kyrie in that room and showing him how to lead, how to be a better player. Exactly. So I think that the Nets are probably the team to beat, if we're being honest. I think they're going to sweep whoever they play in the playing game, and whoever they play in the first round, it's going to be scary for them. But the one team that I don't trust when it comes to top 4 seeding, the Bulls. I don't trust the Bulls. I think we all agree with that. And I think that Boston right now is the better clear-cut team. And I understand. I get it that the Bulls have been facing injuries with Lonzo and with Caruso. And also Levine, I believe, he missed a few games. But Boston was facing the exact same things. And Boston has been on a tear ever since January 1st. I believe in Boston more than I believe in this Bulls team. But I think it's very close. Even 5 and 6 for the East, it's still very close to see what's going to happen. I think it's going to be fun to see. But right now, those are the teams that I trust. And the Bulls are the one team that I really don't trust in the playoffs.
Before we move on, one thing I want to say here. In the East, right? In the West, you have really deep rosters, right? The Warriors have a really deep roster. Suns, really deep roster, right? Jazz, you could kind of fit them in there for a deeper roster, right?
Yeah.
However, in the East, I think the deepest roster, you guys can say yours, right? I have mine. I think it's a clear cut. The Miami Heat have one of the deepest rosters in the East. I believe. Like, they have the deepest roster in the East. You mean? Like, the Miami Heat, they struggled early on in the season, right? And they've just been hitting all their strides. They truly have been hot. They did drop a game to the Suns a few days ago, but the Suns, like I said, the Suns are just a clear cut number one. You mean like if the Suns aren't your favorites to contend, like to win
at least the West?
Yeah, but you mean like it's just what are you talking about? But I think that the Heat are just with Hero coming off the bench. You mean like I think they've put the pieces together. They have Lowry. They have Adebayo. Even they have Jimmy Butler. Like all the, like Duncan Robinson's been on a tear shooting from the 3-point line. Like the 3-pointer. You mean 3-pointer? He's been on a tear. I think the team is like it's dangerous. You know they're hitting their stride at the exact moment where you want them to hit their stride.
Yeah.
And going forward, to me, the favorites in the East has to be the Heat. Has to be the Heat for me. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I still, in my opinion,
you said Milwaukee, right?
I still have to say Milwaukee. I'm sorry, I can't.
I would say Milwaukee as well. Just looking at what they did last year, looking at even though their record hasn't been the best this year, I still believe in them to make the playoffs or to be great in the playoffs. But again, going back to the Nets, it all depends on what happens with Kyrie because he has to play half the games.
Mandate.
Let's say obviously we know they're going to be a 7 or 8 seed, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you have to play Brooklyn in a game 7. You're the home team. You're at a disadvantage. You do not want to close out a series with Kyrie playing that game. You want to close it out when they go back home when Kyrie can't play. So this is gonna be very odd and very weird for us to see. And teams are gonna this is gonna be weird. You have to play around Kyrie.
Give him a chance.
You have to play around Kyrie playing in those games. But I don't know. I just think the East is very competitive. But I would say the Heat are up there. I would say you have to go with them as deepest roster. I would still go the Bucks as the deepest.
Okay, definitely agree. And one thing that's important to point out, NBA, right? There's teams that are just regular season teams, and there's teams that are playoff teams. You know what I mean? Like teams can just go on tears in the playoffs. That could be due to coaching. That could be due to leadership. That could be due to players getting healthy. You know what I mean? That's really something to watch out for.
Yeah.
Moving on to our last subject here. I want to just have a conversation, guys. Right? Three guys, three really close friends. I want to have a conversation, right? Now, Luman, I've got scrutiny for this. Right? Maybe I'm biased, Luman. I just want to ask this one question right here. Who's better, Nikola Jokic, or Joel Embiid?
Or Joel Embiid? Like,
Who's
it's
better?
just as of right now.
Yeah.
As of right now.
Who's your one right there? Who's your one?
If I have to pick one, as of right now.
And before Luman answers, I want the viewers comment down below. Who do you think? Who do you think's better? All right, Luman.
This is right now.
now.
Keep in mind,
March
now.
10th, 2022.
March 10th, 2022, Thursday night.
Yes.
The writer saw. I'm going Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid.
As of right now, I'm going Joel Embiid.
I'm going Embiid as well. I think right now, before the past 2-3 months, I would go Jokic no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's just so weird to argue players right now because it's currently in the season. But yeah, right now to start a team, I would still go with Jokic. But right now, Embiid's playing at a higher level.
See, as a whole, like if it wasn't as of right now, if you just said like all time, I'd obviously pick Jokic.
Sure. We all know how you feel.
We all do know
biasness. But again, I did see Nikola Jokic sell that fourth quarter.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying that's what I was gonna ask you. You're telling me after what you saw tonight against the Golden State Warriors, him getting manhandled in the paint by Kevon Looney.
Oh, sure. He had
turning the ball over.
Yeah, I agree. He had a bad game. But let's not forget, Joel Embiid lost by 29 points today as well.
Yes.
He had a bad game as well. So, you can't just ignore that fact.
But one is a front-runner for MVP, one isn't.
One just won the MVP and one just didn't.
I know, but I'm saying right now I'm going Embiid later. But I'm saying if I want to start my team, I'm going Jokic. I'm going the guy who can pass. I'm going the guy,
And Joel Embiid can very well be, the MVP of this season. You think he's going?
I think he's going to.
Okay, that's another episode. Guys, before I close this out, anything else you want to say?
Oh yeah, I mean let's talk about address the
elephant.
elephant.
You already said you want to have a conversation, right?
Let's address the elephant in the room.
Address it right now.
What else you want to talk about?
What's going on with your Lakers, though, man?
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not bringing that up. No, we'll wait till after the season to bring up our little discussion. But go on. What's going on with your Lakers, though, man?
The Lakers. Wow.
You're Rob Pelinski. It feels like
I'm about to give like a retirement speech. That's
how do you think?
Sorry for being a fan. Huh?
If I'm Rob Pelinka,
yeah,
I find a time machine as fast as I can.
Oh, there you go.
Before Ron,
you gotta get the DeLorean.
Before the GM and AD called up Russ and said, "Do you want to come play in LA?"
Man,
and recruited a whole bunch of vets, right? yes, they're vets, and
Respect that.
yes, they've had successful careers. But as of this season, they do not look like they're trying whatsoever. I think they've all given up on the season, which I don't think, in my deep down in my heart, that LeBron has. But I think with Russell Westbrook, everyone wants to talk about this last game he had with the Rockets. Oh, no one's talking about it on the media. He played the Rockets, one of the worst teams in the NBA, and he dropped, 30, 12, and 8? I mean, if he does that night in and night out, like I've seen him do 2017, 2018, 2019, even last year with the Wizards, he wouldn't be getting slandered, right? And it's unfortunate, obviously, that he's getting death threats, and the NBA should never be taken that far.
Never. Yeah.
But it's just he does have to play better. As a basketball player, as a former MVP, a future Hall of Famer, top 75 player as well, I think he has to play better. But it's not just him. And I know a lot of people like to use him as a scapegoat.
Yeah,
I seriously don't think it's not just him.
Even since he's been at
when a rookie,
OKC,
when a rookie, an undrafted rookie from Oklahoma, 23 years old, named Austin Reeves, has more heart than anybody on that team.
Yeah.
And he's played how many games are we in this season? Like 60-something?
Yeah.
67, 68? And he's shown more heart than anybody on that team.
Aside from LeBron.
Aside from LeBron, that just says a lot.
I agree with you. I think when it comes to pointing out the problem with this Laker team, you don't know where to start. But obviously, hindsight is 2020. Mm-hmm. Going on, there were talks about the Lakers and Buddy Hield. I thought that when the trade was about to happen, I was saying Buddy Hield is a way better fit. It's addressing what the Lakers needed.
Or Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, seeing it now, could have been a better fit.
Yeah, it would have been a better fit. But, I mean, looking at it, even though I do agree that Russ did have a good game, and I just think it's all on him when it comes to his play. It's no one else, and we all know that they also tried to, force him to come off the bench. But he wasn't going for that. He doesn't want to. But I do think that honestly could have helped. And later on in the season, when your team's struggling, I think you just need to try to plug in anything that could work. Maybe plugging in Russ on the bench and putting him in. I think that could have worked. But it's really too late to tell now. You're kind of out of that loop, except your only chance is the playing games. But yeah, just looking at this team, and then you also can't excuse AD. I understand he's been injured most of the season. But even when he was playing, he wasn't that same AD. Exactly. And I agree with Aaron. When it comes to the effort, it's the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anyone could argue that because I've seen the Lakers team put in effort. They put in effort on Saturday night against Golden State, and they won. They were putting in effort for half a game when me and Loman went to go see them against the Mavs. They put in effort. They put in effort for when it came to that comeback. 19, but then when they came back, they put it in for half that game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just think that's the biggest reason why is their effort, their defense. And I say defense, it comes with effort. My Boston Celtics, horrible on defense, all of a sudden the number one team. What about you? What do you think about the Lakers?
So here's the thing. I'm not a Lakers fan myself. Family is, right? So I occasionally watch games, right? I'm just surrounded, right? When I watch the Lakers games, they give me so many reasons
to hate them?
No. They give me so many reasons to be like, wow, this team can be something special. Wow, they show flashes of talent. They show flashes of high IQ. Like, you mean like
being scared.
Yeah, like throwing dimes. You mean like wow, like this team. This is the Showtime Lakers. Like, this team can get it together. And then I watch for another minute. I watch another quarter.
You watch that overtime against Houston.
And I just see them get dismantled. I see players, like, you ever play pickup basketball at LA Fitness, right? Mm-hmm. And you go for a layup, and you shank the layup, and you don't run back on defense. You're like, right?
Drop your shoulders.
So many times. And keep in mind, these are professional athletes. Like, they're getting paid millions of dollars, you know what I mean? And you don't run back on defense, you know what I mean? Like, it's, like you said it right there, it's a heart thing, it's an effort thing, right? They simply don't want to do it. Maybe it's because, I don't know, they're older, they have more money, they've already won the championship, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what that is. I'm not in that locker room. Mm-hmm. But it's like demoralizing to see them not try the hardest. You mean, another thing, a lot of missed shots. Like, there's been multiple occasions where somebody missed a shot and other players on the team will look and just put their head down. Like, they're immediately defeated. They're immediately giving up. And, like, that's something that's like, when you watch this Lakers team, and I'm sure the people who are actually fans, the people who actually watch every single game, like my father, watch every single game, it's like, it has to hurt. It has to hurt to watch your team that has so many stars, has so much potential, and you have names all across the board, you mean? And the pieces just simply can't fall into order. And time is running out. The clock has not stopped. You mean? It's you said T-minus 2 months, right? You mean? Yeah. They're in a spot right now. You're in the 9th seed, competing for a play-in tournament, and even if you get in the play-in tournament and you win that game, you still have to play you better hope you don't have to play the Suns first round again, because we don't know how that went. I want to say this: the Lakers have not won. The Lakers, when the Lakers won the championship, they didn't play a single home game. Like, you understand that? They didn't play a single home game. They didn't have to they didn't play a single away game. They were just in an arena. So that's kind of cause for concern for me. I don't know.
Like, when it comes to looking at that championship?
Yes.
I feel like like, a season like this is going to have you and kind of look back and think, is that championship valid?
Yes.
Me, on the other, I know I love to joke around about the Mickey Mouse stuff, but I do think that championship is valid. And I think that this season is just going to cause a lot of concern and a lot of... Like, everyone's just going to kind of think, was that ring, a real thing? I don't know, though, man.
You should honestly go back for that season being valid. You should go back and ask if the Suns fans think that bubble was a mistake. Do you remember what their record was?
Yeah, they were 7 or
8. What did they do last year?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, hell, you look at the Clippers.
That's true.
2020 mindset. Gotta look back, gotta make drastic changes. Made drastic changes.
Yeah.
Went to the first Western Conference Finals last year.
Yeah, that's okay.
And I'll pinpoint both of you guys said well executed what you said. Especially you, considering what your dad said.
Yeah.
You said it has to hurt. That's the most disappointing part. Is seeing them just give up. Seeing them lay their heads low. That's considering the talent they have, that's the worst part out of all of it.
And who was at the forefront? LeBron James.
And
again,
Anthony Davis.
And again, there's a whole debate going on. I'm gonna ask you guys what you guys think about it, but the whole thing of his age coming into play and saying, oh, he's 37 years old. What is he supposed to do? But I think
we talked about this
today. Okay. When it comes to LeBron, I think his play been outstanding. He's been great this season.
Oh, without a doubt.
The only thing that I want to nitpick is how he acts at times. He puts his head down, he walks off at times and just looks... And again, he has every right to be, but the thing is, we're holding him to a standard of the GOAT. So I think he has to be held to that standard.
Exactly.
And again, same thing with Tom Brady. When he gets upset, we have to hold him to that standard because he is the GOAT.
One thing I want to say, Willie, this isn't the first time LeBron's done this. Like, he's done this throughout his career. Like, I'm sorry, like, times. Yeah, exactly. And, sorry to say this, but in his career, he's taken the high road and left on multiple occasions. You know what I mean? Taking his talents to South Beach, right? Like this isn't the first time LeBron's faced adversity. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think this is the first time LeBron's faced adversity.
And he's stuck.
And he realizes, he says he's gonna play until Bronny comes. You know what I mean? Which is, I think, 2 years from now. Mm-hmm. 2 years from now.
Is it 3?
It's 2 years from now. I think he's a sophomore. Oh,
2 years from now.
Yeah, 2 years. He's a junior.
Okay,
yeah, and so LeBron's in quicksand. He's sinking. You know what I mean? And it's kind of. I'm a LeBron hater, so I love it. But I feel bad for you. You mean
And for all purposes, if I'm being honest, this offseason, I expect a lot of drastic changes, more than they did in 2020 when they got AD.
Yes. Just don't. I don't. As much as I don't like LeBron, I don't want to see his career end in turmoil. I want to see him go out champion. You mean I gotta respect that player. You know what I mean? He's the greatest player of all time. You know what I mean? So that's my piece on the Lakers. Anything else, guys, before we close out this episode?
No, not really. Anything you?
No, I'm.
So once again, what we covered, Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA, better than Joel Embiid. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of 3 Guys and Mike. If you've made it this far, you are the true MVP. Throw up the photo of KD and his mom. Thank you guys so much. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow our TikTok, guys. Follow our Instagram. Coming up very soon, we are going to be doing a giveaway of a jersey of any kind of your liking. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Thank you.